Hey everybody, it's Taylor, and today's session we're going to be walking through every single element of the high ticket sales scripts. And this is all word for word. This is a newer script that we've tested and it's beaten all of our other scripts. We've been doing high ticket sales for a long time. We've done multiple seven figures in several different industries, selling on the phone. And so we've used a lot of different flows, a lot of different scripts. This is by far the most powerful and the most fine-tuned. So I'm going to walk you through it. But before we get started, just a quick some bits of homework for you. Grab a notebook. You can buy just a plain notebook like this, a yellow notebook from Amazon. They're very cheap, and get 8 to 10 of them, as you can just buy them in bulk. And however you're currently doing sales, when I switched from taking notes on a computer or on Evernote or with a device, and I switched to taking notes on with a piece of paper and a pen, my sales percentage skyrocketed. I can't explain it. I don't know exactly why it is. But I've talked with other guys, some buddies who are in this industry as well. The same thing happened with them. Most of the people that I talk to that are top sales closers, they don't have a computer in front of them. They're not open to any type of distractions. They're literally taking notes with a pen and a piece of paper. And you can see here I've got just dozens of calls that I've just got notes from people that I've talked to on the calls, just writing down notes. And it's amazing because it just has a way of actually forcing you to sink in and empathize with the prospect. And it's all about empathy. If you can empathize and you can actually relate to the person, they're going to trust you, right? So let's walk through this. This is my personal script. I've printed this out and it's gone through dozens of changes and updates and tweaks. This is the latest. And as soon as I find something that works better, I'll record another training for you so you can use that. This is going to be transferable to your industry. You can maybe change some of the words around, make sure that it fits you. Obviously, you have to adapt it for your market. But every time that I sit down to do a call with someone, a strategy session, I make sure that I read through this top part here. I've just got a paragraph here at the top and some points here at the bottom. But the goal here is that you get into the doctor's psychology before getting on the phone. What do I mean by that is basic life or death. Your job is diagnosis. It's not to convince anyone to do anything. It's not to manipulate or force or coerce someone to make a decision that is against their best interest. You think about when you go into a doctor's office and something's hurting, they're going with the pain and they're looking for a solution. They want to come out with a solution. You got to get into that mindset on these calls. There's no pressure. There's no tactics that are forcing people to do anything. Literally, this script is just designed to find out where people are hurting, what's causing the pain, what's causing the problem, and then make an accurate diagnosis and a prescription for them to get better. Okay? So another thing to think about is the issue of price. So a lot of our clients come in and they end up charging way more than they've ever charged before. And that's awesome, but it's also scary. And so I don't know where you are, if you are coming in already used to high ticket or if you're coming in charging low price and you're now getting into the high price, but this is all psychology. Price really is so contextual that it doesn't even exist unless it's anchored to something else. So if you think that $5,000 is expensive, it's only because you're anchoring it to something that is less than $5,000. So remember that really price objection, doesn't exist. People don't have price objection when they are fine-tuned and accurately presented with the cost of doing nothing, when they understand the cost of not fixing their problem, and then you can link your price and your fees to that cost. It's usually going to be cheaper to work with you than it is going to be for them to figure it out on their own. So you take us, for example, if you were to try to figure out our entire system by yourself, feel free. And that's our posture on the phone. You can go and try to figure this out on your own all you want. It's going to cost you in lost clients. It's going to cost you in doing it wrong. It's going to cost you in picking the wrong software and not creating the proper language for your market. It'll end up costing you much more than the investment to work with us and just get that shortcut. And then you think about time too. A lot of you are selling an accelerated way. So if you're a health coach, you are selling the ability to get those results faster than they would have been on their own. So keep that in mind. Price barriers don't exist. When people are having price barriers, they just don't understand the cost of inaction. And that's kind of what you have to remind people of. The third thing is people are coming to you because they have no idea how to do something that you know how to do. All right? Something that you are obviously very good at. So keep the economics here in your favor. All right? Don't think that you're getting on the phone with people trying to convince them to do something they don't want to do. Remember that they're experiencing pain, obviously, or they wouldn't have signed up for you to work with you. And your job is literally just to see, are you a fit? Are you not a fit? Find out where it's hurting, prescribe the solution, and let them make a decision. Okay? It's all a head game here at this point. Getting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for whatever it is that you do is all about the head game, how you're thinking about it. Okay? Record the call. Always record your call. We record everything with Skype or freeconferencecall.com. Have a pen and notepad in front of you. Again, feel free to take notes using your computer. That's fine. But what I like to do is close down all the distractions, put my laptop to the side, and just use a pen and a piece of paper and just take out notes, old-fashioned, with a good old trusty notebook. Turn all your devices off. And this is big. Release your attachments to someone saying yes. All right. If you need the sale, you're not going to get it. So people can feel that. People can feel it when you need something, and just release all that. The goal of your strategy session is not to get a sale. It's to diagnose the problem and to figure out if someone's a good fit. And that's a little bit backwards. Okay, so you got to let go of that. Emotionally, you got to make sure you're not tied to the yes. You're not tied to the outcome. You don't care about the outcome. You just want to make sure that you're able to help someone and that you can match them up if it's appropriate. And then whenever the appointment is, dial the minute that it turns to that time. So if it's at 1:30, at 1:29 in 20 seconds, have the number in your phone and dial them as soon as it hits 1:30. All right. This alone has helped us decrease no-shows. I used to call like a minute early or wait 40 seconds. And honestly, when you dial right at the time, people respect that. They feel like you're valuing their time, so do that. Okay? Okay. All right, so let's walk through this script. And this is a video you'll want to watch repeatedly. You're not going to get it in the first time. I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time learning how to sell on the phone. So you're not going to get it the first run through. You're not probably going to get it the second. By the third or fourth, you'll start understanding how things are put together, right? So the first part is the open, and the open is all about rapport. And the goal of the open is just to establish the call, get the person's some small details, where are they from, just building a little bit of rapport, making sure that they feel comfortable. So typically when I call, I just say, hey, is this John? Awesome, John, this is Taylor from Traffic and Funnels. How are you? Cool. Where are you from, John? Nice. Is it cold out there? And just kind of talking to them like I was meeting them at the grocery store. You're just developing a little bit of rapport, putting the person at ease, and lowering those sales walls that they're going to have. All right. You don't want to go too long. Make sure you keep this to like 20 seconds or less. Very quickly. How's it going? Awesome. You having a good day? Awesome. Where are you from? What's the weather like? Cool. Well, awesome. If you're ready to go, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. And it's very important to just say we can go ahead and get started and then pause. And they'll say, yep, let's do it. Okay. And then you move on to the next part, which is setting the agenda. And this is where you actually define the roles of the rest of the conversation. So some people are not used to being in a position where they're following someone else. And the problem is if you get someone who wants to take charge and they want to lead at the very beginning of the call, you're never really going to close that person. And so while we're respectful, every single call that we have, we make sure that, we set the lead and we take the lead and set the agenda right at the beginning. So how I'll do that, say, awesome. Well, John, let me quickly explain how today's call is going to work. I'm just going to start by asking you some questions about your business and your application, which I have here in front of me. And then if it sounds like, we can help you, and if it sounds like we're a good fit, then I'll explain what we have and how it works. And then at the end, if it makes sense for you, you can make a decision about whether you want to be a part of it or not. And then I pause. I don't say, sound good. I don't say, is that okay? I don't say, will that work for you? I just pause. I let that silence sit there. And what I'm doing is I am just letting them know that there will be something to offer. And I'm telling them that I am the one running the call. Okay. Say okay, or they'll say awesome, or they'll say, yeah, sounds great, or they'll say okay, or whatever. And then you can move on. What happens if they say, okay, well, what happens if they try to take the lead here, which has happened before, where they may say, I'll say, you can make a decision about whether you want to be a part or not. And then John will say, okay, so what software do you guys use to run your webinars with? And they're asking a question out of line, and I've just told them what we're going to do, and they've gone around that. And so what I'll just say is, cool, well, we'll get to that. So John, the first thing I want to know is, what is it that motivated you to take the time out of your day and schedule a call with us? Okay, so I'm going to move right into my next point. So I want to understand why that person is here. So even if someone says, yeah, well, I only have a little bit of time, and I really just wanted to know if you guys can help me. Awesome. Well, John, I would love to figure that out. I don't know, but the first thing I would like to know is, what is it that motivated you to take the time out of your day to schedule a call with us? All right. It doesn't matter what they try to do. I'm going into the next point. If they continue to be a bother, I just get off the phone with them. One time we had a guy who was going through the scripts, and I said, I said, you can make a decision about whether you want to be a part or not. And he said, how long have you guys been in business? And I said, cool, I'll get to that in just a second. The first thing I need to know from you is just why you scheduled the call with us. And he said, listen, he's like, I know what you're doing, but let me be clear. This call is not about you qualifying me. It's about me qualifying you. There are other people that I can work with. And I said, okay, it's not going to be a good fit. Have a good day. And I hung up with them. It is not worth your time. You will never close someone who is that arrogant and alpha, and they can't even follow instructions. So don't even waste your time with them. And honestly, even if you were to close someone like that, they're going to be a pain. You're going to hate your life and hate your business and wish you wouldn't have closed them, because they're always going to be trying to buck the system and take the lead away from you. So don't cave in if people are being that way. Get off the phone with them, and they're not a good lead, not a good fit. All right. So the next step is really understanding why that person is here. What problem prompted them to take action and fill out an application to talk with you? Okay, so John, what is it that motivated you to schedule a call with us? And he'll say, whatever it is. Let's say he's in the health and coaching space. Maybe he says, I've been trying a long time to lose weight, and I finally got my diet in order, and it still isn't working. Like, I'm still overweight, and it's just not good. And then you can prod a little bit here. Sometimes people will give you everything you need to know in this first question. That's awesome, but it rarely happens. Most of the times you have to prod. You have to say, tell me more about that. What do you mean? Or if someone says, well, I just need more leads, tell them, why? Why do you need more leads? You want to get down to the root issue. Maybe my business has been growing, but it's starting to stagnate out. Okay, well, tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? Well, I'm not getting enough customers anymore to pay my bills. Okay, well, what have you done to try to fix that? Well, I've tried to do referrals and blah, blah, blah. John, how long have you been dealing with this? About the last 8 months. Okay. So you kind of get into how long they've been dealing with it, what they're struggling with, what it means to them, what the problem really is. And then you can move on once you have an accurate understanding of why they're here on the phone with you. And then the next part is learning how to understand what it is that they sell. I was having a conversation with a friend not long ago, and we were talking about this. He was asking kind of what our model is for selling. And this guy does a lot of money in sales as well. He has his own business that's doing really well. But the problem with what he was doing is he was not spending enough time on this part, understanding their business, because he would get a client and the prospect would come in, and when they would tell him what he was selling and kind of tell him the process, they would talk and he would already kind of understand. He's selling to the same market. He's selling to the same group of people over and over and over. So he already understands. He already understands like the ideal customer. He already understands the problems that they're facing. And so he was skipping over this, and he wasn't closing as much as he should be. And I had to tell him, understanding people's business is more about making sure that the prospect understands that you understand, if that makes sense. All right, so there's two sides here to this part 4. The first part is you want to understand what they're selling. You want to understand their process. You want to know. You can't help people if you don't understand. But even more importantly is you want the person on the other side of the phone to feel like you get them. You don't want them to feel like you're just rashly putting together a cookie cutter fix and serving it to them. You want them to feel like you're actually taking time to listen, taking time to ask questions, taking time to take notes, and they should feel like you understand their struggle, their business, what they've tried to do. It's all about them. And so you might be a health coach and you might already understand, oh, if they're not going to the gym, that's their problem. But the thing is unless you ask them questions about the rest of their life, why are they not going to the gym? Do they have kids? Do they have stressful situations in their life that are causing them to want to eat different? If that prospect doesn't feel understood, then it doesn't matter what you understand if they are not aware and if they don't believe that you understand them. That's the biggest thing.